Hey, so I'm getting ready to go to Trader Joe's right now to go grocery shopping for the week, and I'm gonna see what I can get for $50. My balance was $55.66. However, I just noticed she charged me for 2 grapefruits that I did not even get. So Trader Joe's, y'all need to run me back $3.38. Let me show you guys what I got. Chicken, salmon, eggs, almond milk, Greek yogurt, oat, peanut butter, tuna, 3 sweet potatoes, carrot, tomato, broccolini, spring mix, mushroom, 2 peppers, 2 apples, 3 bananas. So that's all from Trader Joe's. These are from a street vendor outside. I paid $6 for these. Blackberries for $2, raspberries for $1, oranges for 50 cents each, pears for 50 cents each, lemons and limes 3 for $1. So overall I paid about $58, and I'm going to show you guys how I use them. Some baking soda. Here are my berries. Here's the raspberries. So now I'm gonna make about 3 servings of the oats. So I'm gonna do 1 cup of almond milk, or I'm gonna do 1.5 cups of almond milk. And then I'm gonna do 1.5 cups of water. I'm gonna add some cinnamon. I'm gonna add some nutmeg. I'm gonna add some vanilla extract. And now I'm gonna bring this to a boil. Now that it's at a boil, I'm going to add 1.5 cup of oats. And I'm gonna give it a nice mix. I'm gonna turn this on low heat, and then I'm just gonna let it simmer. So now I'm gonna add in some Greek yogurt. That was the entire container. Now I'm gonna put half a banana in each of these. Now I'm gonna add my berries. I'm gonna add some almonds. I'm gonna add some chia seeds. I'm gonna finish this off with some cinnamon powder. So I'm gonna start off with 3 carrots, and we're just gonna cut off the tips. So now that I have my carrots, I'm going to grate them to this side. Honestly, once I get to a certain point, I'm not even gonna risk grating my fingers. So yeah, I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna use just about like 2 carrots. So this one I'm gonna just put away. So here's the final result. This is about 1 cup, and now we're gonna set this aside. Now in a big bowl, I'm going to take 2 ripe bananas. Since I don't really like using sugar, I'm going to actually just use this banana to get it sweet. So I have 1 really ripe banana, and then I have this one. Then now with the fork, I'm just going to mash the banana. So this is the consistency that I got it. I actually don't want to over mash it. I'm going to leave it a bit chunky. Now in this bowl, so now I have some vanilla extract. I'm going to add about 1.5 teaspoons. Now I have some unsweetened vanilla almond milk. I'm gonna add 1/3 cup of that. Some plain Greek yogurt. I'm gonna add about 1/2 cup of that. This is all the wet ingredients, so I'm just going to give that all a good stir. So it's going to look a bit lumpy, but that's okay because remember we didn't mash the bananas all the way. So I'll leave this like this. Now I'm going to add in the carrots. And I'm also going to give that a good stir. You know, growing up I really loved carrot cake, so I'm really excited for this. So this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder. I have some nutmeg. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon. Now I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Just a little. That's good. Now I have some baking powder. I'm going to add about 1.5 teaspoons. And then I'm gonna add about half a teaspoon of baking soda, sorry. So now I have some coconut flour. You can use regular white flour, but personally, I just realized that I have a gluten intolerance, so I'm trying this option out just to see how it works. So I'm gonna add about 1 1/4 cups. It smells coconutty, obviously. And y'all, surprisingly, I got this from Dollar Tree. I usually don't buy a lot of food products from there, but I was really shocked when I saw this. So I'm like, let me give it a try for $1.25. And now with my rolled oats, I'm going to add 1 cup. So now I'm gonna switch from using this because I don't want to get everything caught up in there. I'll just use a little spatula. This smells so good, you guys. So you don't want to over mix it, so I'm just gonna fold everything and, you know, just do a gentle mix. But make sure that the flour is getting mixed in. So this is what the consistency is looking like. If you want, you can add like maybe some nuts to it. I'm actually gonna add some almonds because, you know, why not? I have some almonds, so I'm gonna add a little bit of that in here just for a little crunch, not too much. And then I'm just going to fold that in. So this is pretty much it. This is what the consistency is like. So now we have 2 options, which I'm gonna use both. I have a muffin pan and then I have a bread pan. For the cupcake pan, I'm just gonna line that with paper liners. I don't have a scooper, so I'm just gonna use a regular spoon. It gets the job done. So I'll probably put about this much in each tin. So this is what I have for this. For the bread pan, I'm going to actually line it with some parchment paper just for an easier cleanup. Do a little crumple. Now I'm going to just put these in there. So I'm gonna have 6 muffins. Then I'm gonna have a loaf, which I can probably cut into about like 4 pieces. And I'm gonna pop these in the oven. So here are the final results for our muffin. It's looking really good. So now here's the loaf. I'm actually going to pull it out of the pan to avoid the condensation that builds up at the bottom. So now, just to keep it good for the next few days, I'm going to wrap them individually. That should help keep the moisture in. And for the muffins, I'm just going to put them in Ziplocs. I'll put 2 in a Ziploc. So now we're gonna get started on some chicken thighs. I don't know who told y'all shouldn't, but please wash your chicken. So before I soak it, I'm actually gonna trim off as much fat as I can. So I did leave a little fat on there because I don't want it to get dry, but I'm gonna cut these into some bite-sized pieces. Now we're gonna marinate it. So now we're gonna put some paprika, onion powder, ginger powder, garlic powder, ground cumin. Is it cumin or cumin? Some kickin' chicken finger licking spice blends, Dijon mustard, some homemade green seasoning that I froze, Greek yogurt. This is it marinated. I'm gonna let this sit for about 20 minutes. And in a bowl of water, I'm gonna be using 6-inch skewers, and I'm just gonna let it soak. So that way, once you either pop it in the oven or in the air fryer, it doesn't burn. It's been about 30 minutes. I'm gonna shake off the excess water, and then we're just gonna start to fill the sticker. So this is what one kebab looks like. The second one. The final. So I was able to fill up 8 6-inch kebab sticks. So I'm gonna drizzle some olive oil over these, and now I'm gonna put it in the air fryer on 350 for about 20 minutes. So now I'm just gonna make the glaze for the chicken. I'm gonna add a little bit of green seasoning. I'm also gonna add some parsley. I'm gonna add a little bit more butter, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of cayenne pepper. Since I'm gonna rub this on the chicken and put it in the air fryer, I'm just gonna turn it off now. We don't wanna overcook it. Take the butter sauce and just rub it. So this is what the chicken looks like, and I'm gonna pop it back in the air fryer for another like 5 minutes. Here's the final result. So now we're gonna make some salmon. I'm just gonna remove the skin. So now I'm just gonna rinse them out with some vinegar and water. I have my salmon clean. I'm just gonna dry it up. Take off as much of the excess water as I can. I just wipe out the excess water in the bowl as well. And now I'm just gonna cut these up into some cube-sized pieces. I'm gonna add some paprika, some garlic powder, some onion powder, a bit of Old Bay. Then I'm gonna add some seasoning salt, a bit of cornstarch, and then we're gonna give this a good mix. Make sure to get everything coated, but I don't want to be too rough to where I'm gonna break the salmon apart. Here's my salmon. Now on medium heat, in the hot pan, I'm gonna add some olive oil, add the salmon, So now I'm going to take the salmon out and set it aside. So now I'm going to add some butter. Let that melt down. Here's 2 garlic cloves. I'm just going to let that cook up a little bit. Gonna add in some honey, not too much, and then some soy sauce, some green onions, and now I'm gonna toss the salmon back in. I'm just gonna add a little bit more honey. And then we're going to give this a nice mix. I'm just going to add a little bit of red pepper flake and we are done. Here is our salmon. So now in the same pot, I'm just going to keep, everything in there for more flavor. I just washed a bunch of broccoli. So we're going to toss this in. So I'm going to add some black pepper, and since there is a bit of soy sauce still in the pot, I'm gonna just keep it really light with the salt. That's it. And then I'm gonna close this and allow it to steam for about 3 to 5 minutes. Now I'm just gonna flip these, close it again. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of water. Close this and allow it to steam up for the next 3 to 5 minutes. Since this is for meal prep, I'm going to reheat it. I'm actually going to leave this just as is. I'm going to take these out. So this is my broccoli. I'm going to start off with 3 medium to large size sweet potatoes. I'm just going to peel them. So now I'm going to give these a rinse. We're going to give these a nice cut. I'm just going to cube them up. And sweet potatoes can be a little difficult to chop, so I like to improvise with the way that I cut it. It allows me to have more control when cutting it. I like to cut them into cube-sized pieces like this so that they cook properly and also so that they don't burn. So this is 3 medium to large sweet potatoes. So now I'm gonna just cut up 1 carrot just to add a little extra veggies in there. You can skip this step, but personally I just want to have it. So I'm just gonna cut this into some nice sized discs. And I'm going to set that aside. So now I have half of a green pepper and half of an orange pepper and 1 whole medium-sized red onion. And I'm going to just cube them all up. Not too small because I don't want it to melt. This is the final result. So now in a hot pan, I'm going to add some olive oil. I'm going to add the sweet potatoes. So now I just want to give it a nice mix to get the potatoes coated with the olive oil. As you can see, it's starting to get a nice brown color. Right now it's on medium heat and I actually want to take my time with making this. So we're going to go low and slow with this so that it gets a nice brown coating on the outside and evenly cooks out on the inside. I'm just going to create a little hole in the center and then I'm going to add my carrots. So now we're going to give it, and then I'm going to move everything to the side just to avoid having to transfer this to another pot. I'm going to drizzle a little bit of more olive oil and then I'm going to add in the onions and the peppers. Now we're gonna add some black pepper. I'm gonna add some garlic powder. I'm gonna add some paprika. I know we already have some onions in here, but I'm gonna add some onion powder. And then some chicken bouillon. You know, not too much, but. So I added in my chicken bouillon, and now we're just going to give everything a mix. A little bit more chicken bouillon. We're going to give this a mix. And now we're just going to cover it, turn the fire on about medium low, and then just let that steam for about another 5-10 minutes. This smells so good. Here's the final result. If you cook it any longer, the sweet potatoes, as you can see, are starting to mash up. However, I intentionally did that because, you know, I didn't want them to be like completely flaky. So this is perfect. And then I'm just gonna finish this off with some chopped parsley, you know, for a little razzle dazzle. And I like a little spice, so I'm gonna add a little bit of cayenne pepper, just a little. Here's the roasted potatoes. So all we need is cucumber. We're gonna cut off the ends, and I'm going to peel the skin off. So now I'm gonna cut these in half. We're gonna toss all of them into this container. Now we have our red onion. I'm just gonna thinly slice these. So I'm also gonna toss these into here. I actually have a tomato medley here, but you can also use regular tomatoes. So now that I have my tomatoes, I'm just gonna cut them in half. And then for the yellow ones, I'm just gonna cut them in quarters. So these are the tomatoes. I'm gonna add them into the bowl. And now I have some parsley. So now I'm gonna create the sauce. So we're going to put chicken bouillon, some black pepper. We're gonna add a little bit of Dijon mustard, some mayo. We're gonna add a little bit of olive oil and then some vinegar, and then we're just gonna give this a nice mix. This is what the sauce looks like, and then we're just going to pour that over. We're gonna give this a nice toss. Here it is. It's so good and so refreshing. You can put this over meat, you can put it over your salad, you can put it over rice. You can literally eat this with anything. It's the perfect refreshing add-on to any dish. So here you have it. Yes, you can go to Trader Joe's with about $50 to $60 to meet your proper nutrition goals for the week.